I believe that education holds the key to a bright future, not only in transforming lives, but in helping communities to see their power to shape the world. Muktangan stands at the forefront. We have dedicated ourselves to unlocking the true potential within every child, teacher, and parent. At the heart of this our educational journey lay the possibility of a powerful synergy, a harmonious connection between the teacher, the child, the parent, and the community.
Over the years, we have developed into an integrated teacher and school education model. Every year, thousands of children thrive, benefiting from holistic learning experiences. Our commitment to excellence is evident in the impressive school pass percentage, averaging at an astounding 99% over 10 years of SSC examinations. The impact continues even after school, with 98% of our alumni pursuing higher education and becoming productive contributors to society. We try to achieve harmony with global goals and national policies. A significant number of points mandated in policy documents like the NEP 2020 have already been pioneered, adopted, and illustrated in the Muktangan model.
Our impact extends beyond our classrooms. Through our outreach project, we have developed a strong partnership with the BMC and VSNU and academic organizations.
As a Muktangan teacher, when I gave this to work with school, teach them about foundership, literacy and numeracy skills. When I started taking videos as a point, but later on when I took the activities of literacy and numeracy, parents participated in the activity and they understood the importance of education in deciding.
As we gaze upon the future, let us forge ahead, hand in hand. Join us on this extraordinary journey as we continue to make a difference. Every child, every teacher, and every parent has a role to play. Let's unlock boundless potentials and create a world where education knows no boundaries. Fostering this engagement is not just a choice, it is an imperative if we seek to kindle flames of transformation.
We invite you to join hands with us to grow and spread our experiences and learnings with other communities and partner organizations. Your support will enable thousands of other children to realize their fullest potential. Thank you for your support.
Shruti just gives a thumbs up when we are supposed to start, or are we waiting for a few more participants to join?
Begin.
Good afternoon, everyone. Today's webinar is on the topic Holistic Curriculum for Physical and Mental Well-being. The schedule of the webinar is flashed on the screen. In today's webinar, we have the following speakers, and they are going to cover few topics that are mentioned in the schedule. Before we begin, I would like to share some rules, requesting all the participants to stay on mute at all times. Please do keep your videos on. Kindly share your suggestions, feedback in the chat box. We shall take a few questions, if any, during the last 10 to 15 minutes of the webinar. So please do stay with us till end of the webinar. Requesting you to kindly mention your name and organization along with the questions. Welcome everyone. The National Education Policy 2020 of India emphasizes on the importance of a holistic curriculum for the physical and mental well-being of children through a comprehensive approach that includes a multidisciplinary curriculum, early childhood care, mental health support, art integration, flexible learning, and sports. A holistic curriculum recognizes the interconnectedness of physical, emotional, social, and spiritual development, aiming to nurture well-rounded individuals equipped with essential life skills. One of the main guiding principles in NEP 2020 states that recognizing, identifying, and fostering the unique capabilities of each student by sensitizing teachers as well as parents to promote each student's holistic development in academic and non-academic spheres. In the light of this, art and craft, music, and physical education should no longer be looked at as mere extracurricular activities. Instead, they should be given the same place as the other core subjects in the curriculum. Before we dwell into the topic, I would like to introduce all our speakers. I would like to start with Miss Navjyoti Brillant. She works with Tridha, a Rudolf Steiner school in Mumbai, as the head of primary school. Today, she is going to speak on the topic, the power of art and craft curriculum. Then we have Dr. Sachin Tambare, who holds a PhD in physical education and consults at various organizations, including us at Muktangan. Then we have Dr. Nivedita Chalill, who is the founder of ARTH, a mental health initiative that offers counseling and art-based therapy. We have Ms. Kamakshi Khurana, who heads the Soundspace organization. Ms. Kamakshi Khurana is our first speaker who is going to talk about music and the ability to learn from the music. She grew up in the family where music has always been an integral part of the home. This interest led her to complete her Visharad with a first class from the Lucknow University of Indian Classical Music. Simultaneously, she completed her bachelor's with distinction in psychology from the Jai Hind College. This unique fusion of psychology and music led her to the field of education. She is currently working with institutions like Bharatiya Vidya Bhavan and Mehli Mehta Music Foundation, where she uses her knowledge and abilities to create and conduct music lessons with a difference. Kamakshi introduces to both children and adults the world of sound and music in a fun-filled and easy manner. She has performed at several occasions with renowned artists, and her love for theatre and performance has also given her a deep understanding of expression. The sound space is a concept which encompasses almost every conceivable miracle that sound can create. Here, Kamakshi introduces to a large number of people that innumerable qualities of sound. I now invite our facilitator, Ms. Zainab Binderwala, to kindly take this discussion forward.
Thank you, Hetal, so much. Music and the ability to learn.
Ma'am, you are on mute.
Shruti, am I audible? Hello? Yeah. Music and the ability to learn. Are they interconnected? Our very own Shruti once shared that the only time she scored a 90 out of 90 in her maths paper was when her maths teacher used music in a classroom. So let's hear it from an expert herself, Ms. Kamakshi Khurana. How does an effective music curriculum activate the brain's capacity to learn? So over to you, Kamakshi.
Hi, everybody. Very nice to see you all over here. I will dive straight into what I know best, and that is music and education. So, let me just quickly take you to A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, J, K, L, M, N, O, P, right? We literally have heard this the whole time and still teach it to our children. A simple thing like the alphabet is something that we still sing, right? So obviously music is doing something to the brain, and with my limited experience in the field of music and education, I have found how students remember, one, imbibe, two, and also retain for a long period of time things that have been done musically. And by musically, I mean also through movement and music, both. Correct? So it has been proven on multiple levels where music enhances your left and right brain. And we know as educators that bringing the left and right brain to work in synchronization is something that we is our constant endeavor, right? So even if you're teaching a simple subject like math or science, you're teaching a simple formula or something, if there is a rhythm attached to it, you will know that your students are going to grasp it much easier. So I'm going to take you straight into one little activity that I'd like you to do. I know you're behind your screens. But if you could do this with me, it'll be great. Okay, and then we will go into all the other discussions that we can have. So there are three words: bim, bom, and bitty. Okay, so bim, bum, bitty, bitty, bum. I have bim here, bom, bim, bum, bitty, bitty, bum. Bitty bum, bitty, bitty bum, bim bum. That's all I need you to do. Three words: bim, bum, and bitty. Okay, let's do it again. 1, 2, let's do it. Bim, bum, bitty, bitty bum. One more time. Bim, bum, bitty, bitty bum. Bitty bum, bitty, bitty bum, bim bum. Bim bum, bitty, bitty bum, bitty bum, bitty, bitty bum, bim bum. Let's just sing it. 1, 2, sing with me. No one listening, so sing out loud. Bim bum, bitty, bitty bum, bitty bum, bitty, bitty bum, bim bum. One more time, so you got it. Bim bum, bitty, bitty bum, bitty bum, bitty, bitty bum, bim bum. If you like, you can put your videos on. Yes, that would be nice, so I can see if you're actually doing this or not. Let's try one last time. Bim bum, bitty, bitty bum, bitty bum, bitty, bitty bum, bim bum. Bim bum, bitty, bitty bum, bitty bum, bitty, bitty bum, bim bum. Now we'll do it for the actions, okay? Bim, bum, bitty. Three words: bim, bum, and bitty. All right, let's do it one more time. Bim, bum, bitty, bitty, beti bom, beti bom, bim bom. Very nice. That's great. Let's try it one more with the actions. One more time and bim bom, bitty bitty bom, bitty bom, bitty bom, bim bom. Lovely. That is very nice. Okay, I can see some sudden smiles on everybody's faces. And that is exactly what music does. And don't we know that if we are light, happy, and willing, the learning just becomes so much easier, isn't it? So, I mean, of course, we can get into the science of it, but I have exactly 12 minutes to speak. So, I think that you need to have the experience of it, right? If you experience something, you will remember it so much better. Yeah. Okay. Now, let me take you back to this activity. One is we had suddenly everybody's sitting up straighter in their chairs because there's alertness in your body, and if there's alertness in your body, and that our physical PE teacher is going to tell us the same thing, that if there's alertness in your body, your learning capacity is going to increase that much more, right? So a tip, a trick, and something which works for sure, and you can all contact me later for these. There are these exercises and these little warm-ups that you can do in your classroom, whether you're a math teacher, English teacher, Marathi teacher, whatever teacher. You can use these musical exercises in your class to prepare your class so that the learning becomes easier, and also the teaching becomes easier, right? As educators, if you have a receptive classroom, you will be able to teach so much better. Yeah. Okay. So that brings me to the first point that I want to talk about, and that is how music boosts our cognitive functions. Um, it has been seen on multiple occasions, also when we're working with differently able children, especially, that when we use music to teach a simple, I will just sing for you. Breakfast time is coming, what shall we eat? Dosa, 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 samosa, dosa, 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 samosa. Lunchtime is coming. What shall we eat? Roti, sabzi, dal and chawal. Roti, sabzi, dal and chawal. You know, everything has, and then no one's going to forget this, I promise you. Right? They will remember it because they remember the tune, just like A, B, C, D, E, F, G. It's that same tune that is sung, and you will remember it and never forget. So it boosts cognitive functions because it helps, like we spoke about earlier, it helps to retain memory, also helps to enhance learning. And activating both sides of the hemisphere. That is very important. What we did with the bim bum, I activated the left and the right brain. And how I did this was because we all know that the left brain is the guy who does all the right-handed stuff, logic, etc., etc. But the right brain is the one who does the language and the slightly more creative work. So this combination of the left and right brain works the best with music, because if you have seen a tabla player or a percussionist, what side of the brain do you think he's using? The logical side, the numbers side. And then you see a violinist who is using more of the creative side, but they both are holding on to the other hemisphere too. So music is only helping us to enhance using the left and right brain. And if you do the research, you don't need me to tell you, but if you just type left and right brain analysis on Google, you will know that the best learning happens when you are engaging the left and right brain. And that is exactly what music does. Rhythm and pitch. We're working with both these elements together to enhance the learning capacity. So going back to that point again, today I'm just going to give you a couple of examples and sing a little bit for you to understand, because this is a very short time for me to explain how much there is, but at least this will open your mind to how you can use music in your classroom in an effective manner. Yeah. Okay. Emotional resonance in music. It aids memory development. When you close your eyes and you think of a train station, you hear sounds. It's a rhythm. It's a rhythm that your body is feeling. But what is happening? It is those sounds are immediately stimulating some memory. Oh, I went with my family, and this is what happened, and I felt so happy. And these another one. You hear your favorite song, and you hear your favorite song, and it immediately brings back the memory either of your childhood or being with a loved one or singing a lullaby to your child. Some memory has been brought back, and this is helping you to enhance emotions. So now, of course, in our new age way of learning, we're also teaching children to work with emotions, right? So if you have an emotionally down child, you're not going to be able to help the child to learn really, right? So playing a song even for the children at the beginning of your class and just doing a little movement, the current favorite song or something that the children like to sing, or singing together in a group, is only helping them to enhance their emotional state and aid learning. Yeah. So that's where we covered all the emotional aspect of things. Now, the other point that I want to quickly touch upon is mood regulating hormones, and that promotes a sense of well-being, right? So if you're able to do that, you can't hear me? Can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Great. So if you're able to uh, help to regulate the moods, and we all know what the role hormones play in our overall development. I still am getting voices low.
We
Zena,
can hear you very clearly.
yeah.
Your
So then
voice is
I
clear.
think I'm quite audible. I just conducted a class before this online.
Yes, you are audible. Yes, sir.
Okay, great. So coming back to that, sorry, I lost my train of thought for a second. Yes, mood regulating hormones is what we're discussing. This is something, as educators, we know that there is a certain age at which the hormones start playing a larger role through the process, right? And of course, I'm touching upon the subtle aspects of human behavior. It's because I am talking about an art form, which is music. But these things, and I can guarantee you, you can definitely be very, very assured that having a happy classroom is going to have a classroom that is going to learn so much better. So sometimes playing a song, even if you are not musical, play it. Help them to just move to the music, and that will bring their brain waves to a certain rhythm that will help to enhance their learning. There's a very interesting fact that I'd like to talk to you about over here is Mozart, the composer. Mozart. His music is composed 1 beat per second. A lot of his music is composed like that, which pretty much goes with the pace at which your brain waves are regulated, which is 1 beat per second. So children listen to Twinkle, Twinkle, Little Star, and there comes to be some sort of equilibrium. That song is composed by Mozart. And so therefore, Here I again tell you about the power of music in education. It is amazing to watch how students can learn through song and rhythm. Yeah. So try it in your classrooms, and I'm gonna go through my last. So information retention. This we have spoken about in length already. The information that one can retain, and I think Zainab started off with that when she said the times table was sound, and that is a very very effective way to remember. And also, not if you can't put a tune to it, it is nice to put a rhythm to it. You say two twos are two, two threes are, you move with a certain rhythm, and that rhythm again helps students to retain so much better. So I hope that helped you. I'm going to do the bim bomb so you don't forget it. You can try it with your students once more before we end today's little tete-a-tete. Okay, let's do it. Bim bam, biddy biddy bam, biddy bam, bim bam. Bim bum, bitty bitty bum, bitty bum, bitty bitty bum, bim bum. Yeah, well done. I can see some of you doing it. Let's try it one last time. Bim bum, bitty bitty bum, bitty bum, bitty bitty bum, bim bum. Bim bum, bitty bitty bum, bitty bum, bitty bitty bum, bim bum. Thank you for listening so patiently. I hope you enjoyed this session. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Kamakshi. That was lovely. मजा आ गया और मुझे पता था अगर कामाक्षी को हम बुलाने वाले हैं वो हमें गवाने वाली है और हमें एक्शंस करवाने वाली है. So it was nice कि हमारे ऑडियोज बंद थे, नहीं तो काफी यहाँ पे कियोस हो जाता बिकॉज इतनी मधुर आवाज हमारी तो नहीं है जैसे कामाक्षी की है. So just to summarize what Kamakshi has just shared with us, कि म्यूजिक के थ्रू हमारी सभी भौतिक जो कार्य है उसको बढ़ावा मिलता है. म्यूजिक बूस्ट्स ऑल आवर कॉग्निटिव फंक्शनिंग. म्यूजिक के द्वारा हमारे मेंदु के दोनों हेमिस्फीयर्स जो है दोनों को एक्टिवेशन मिलता है, उससे फोकस करना और बेहतर होता है. इमोशनल रेजोनेंस जिसकी बात हमने अभी इमोशनल रेजोनेंस की बात जो कामाक्षी जी ने की है कि संगीत की गहराई से हमारी स्मरण शक्ति को भी बढ़ावा मिलता है. सो इट इम्प्रूव्स आवर मेमोरी बिकॉज ऑफ इमोशनल रेजोनेंस. एंड लास्ट एक बहुत ही इंपॉर्टेंट उन्होंने पॉइंट बताया हमें इज दैट द म्यूजिकल स्टिमुलेशन ऑल्सो ट्रिगर्स मूड हार्मोन्स. हमारे हार्मोन्स जो रिलीज होते हैं उसकी वजह से हमारा मूड बदलता है. मूड अच्छा होता है तो ओवरऑल वेल बीइंग भी हमारा अच्छा होता है. सो आई थिंक इनफ एंड मोर विद इन 10-12 मिनट्स कामाक्षी ने हमें बताया है कितना पावर है म्यूजिक में और म्यूजिक के द्वारा हाउ वी कैन change our classroom learning and can help our children to learn better. Okay, so I'm going to be using Hindi and English both because speakers जो ज्यादा English में बात करने वाले हैं और हमारे काफी participants जिन्हें पूरी तरह से अगर नहीं समझ रहा है, so I'm going to try and summarize in Hindi as well. Thank you, Kamakshi, so very much. Hetal?
I would like to introduce our next speaker, Ms. Navjyoti Brillant. Navjyoti Brillant has been working in the field of education since 19 years. She has taught students from nursery up to grade 8 and is a teacher trainer and parent educator. Navjyoti holds a master's in education from California, a master's in applied psychology, and a B.Ed. She is passionate about educating children through artistic pursuit and has been working in this area for 14 years now. She has been working deeply with the Steiner education, an alternative approach to education which emphasizes on learning through art. She lived in New York City as a Steiner teacher. She works with Tridha, a Rudolf Steiner school in Mumbai, as the head of primary school. As mentioned, today she is going to talk about the topic, the power of art and craft curriculum. Over to you now, Jyoti ji.
Before Navjyoti ji comes in the spotlight and can start speaking about the power of art, मैं थोड़ा बताना चाहूंगी कि सेल्फ एक्सप्रेशन जो है वो क्या है इज बेसिकली द एक्शन ऑफ एक्सप्रेसिंग वन सेल्फ। हमारी जो भावना है, हमारी जो फीलिंग्स है, हमारे जो विचार है, हमारी जो आइडेंटिटी है, हम उसे कैसे सभी के सामने प्रस्तुत करते हैं। इट कैन बी प्रेजेंटेड इन अ वाइड वैरायटी ऑफ फॉर्म्स, वन बीइंग आर्ट। आर्ट एक ऐसी भाषा है जो यूनिवर्सली सभी लोग समझते हैं। इट्स अ यूनिवर्सली अंडरस्टूड लैंग्वेज and it can be used when somebody can't speak and can't write, so it's the best medium of expression. हमारी जो नेक्स्ट स्पीकर है मिस नवज्योति ब्रिलांट, शी इज गोइंग टू थ्रो लाइट ऑन हाउ आर्ट कैन हेल्प अस लर्न अबाउट आवर ओन सेल्व्स। जितना हम दूसरों के बारे में समझ सकते हैं, हम अपने बारे में भी ज्यादा बेहतर समझ सकते हैं इफ यू यूज आर्ट। So now I invite Miss Navjyoti Brillant to share on how powerful is an art and craft curriculum for self-expression. Over to you, Navjyoti ji.
Thank you, Zainab. Thank you so much. Just checking, am I audible? Is it clear?
Perfect.
Thank you so much. Okay.
Yes.
Good afternoon, everyone. It's a pleasure to be here. I really congratulate Muktangan for taking this initiative, in addition to all the wonderful work that they are doing towards education. And it is so important for us in this century, in the 21st century, to be looking at a holistic human being and not just as one aspect of the human being. So it is so nice of Muktangan to bring people together towards this cause, because no matter what the problem is, whether it's climate change, whether it's pollution, whether it's war, it dials back to how the human being educates himself. And that is why education is so critical in creating the future of this world. So art in education means speaking a language that everybody can understand. Art is universal, like Zainab said. So the most ancient remnants of human beings, the most ancient caves that have been found from thousands of years ago, have artwork on them, artwork done thousands of years ago. So there was a language spoken back at that time, and that language is spoken even today. So this language, what is it? It's a language that plants cannot use, that animals cannot use, that stones and rocks and mountains cannot use. It is unique to human beings. And that is why art is not just a language that is universal and that is beautiful. It is also the language that defines us as a human being. It makes us human. In order to be able to practice art, all parts of our personality need to come together. The hand needs to start working with the crayon and paper, and the feelings that come up with the use of color and with the expression of emotions on paper have to be involved and engaged lovingly while drawing. And the heart and the hands then together inform the brain. तो मुझे मैं ये कर रही हूँ, मुझे ये अच्छा लग रहा है, ये मेरे दिल को छू रहा है, तो अब ब्रेन को मैसेज मिल रहा है कि ये ऐसा कुछ है जिसमें शरीर भी साथ मिल रहा है, दिल भी साथ मिल रहा है, तो दिमाग एकदम तेजी से उस पर काम करने लग जाता है। एजुकेशन में आजकल पिछले 100 सालों में ऐसा हो गया है कि सिर्फ इंटेलेक्चुअल, सिर्फ दिमागी चीजों पर जोर दिया जा रहा है। So for example, as soon as children are in kindergarten, they are made to read and write and count. So now that is intellectual work that goes directly into the head. It doesn't access the body of the child. It doesn't access the heart forces of the child. It doesn't access the feelings of the child. So when you, instead of going straight into reading, writing, and lecturing with students, when you bring a concept through art, when you inspire them through that, they suddenly light up. So the very first example I would like to give you, if you can see on the slide also, is a typical map of Asia. Now, what is so special about this map? The thing that is special about this map is that it is a work of art जिसमें टीचर ने अपनी दिलो जान लगा दी है। उन्होंने रेडीमेड मैप दुकान से खरीदने की जगह पे खुद मैप बनाया है। अपने हाथों से बार बार सही प्रोपोर्शन लाना, सही शेप लाना, सही रंग, सही शेडिंग लाना, इतना सुंदर बनाना कि बच्चे जैसे ही क्लास में आए, इतना उनका मुंह खुला रहता था। टीचर, ये आपने बनाया, सो ब्यूटीफुल। So immediately, teacher, क्या है ये? So that is the first step and the first impact of art on the human being, and especially on the child. Children love art. Which child do you see if you give them free time? Which child do you see reading or writing? You only see them playing, you see them singing, you see them drawing and painting. So that is the first language of the child. So when the child sees something so lovingly made, then they are drawn to it and then they want to know, teacher, tell us more about this drawing. What is this drawing about? What have you done here? What have you made here? And so on and so forth. So this interplay, जो क्यूरियोसिटी बनी है, उसको देखा उन्होंने आर्ट वर्क को, उससे इंस्पायर हुए। इंस्पायर होने से एक कुछ फीलिंग्स आई दिल में कि क्या है, क्यों है, कैसे है, मुझे भी पता करना है। दिमाग सोचने लगा। Head, heart and hands are working together. Hands, क्योंकि बच्चे खुद भी अब उसे ड्रॉ करेंगे। टीचर ने किया है, मुझे भी करना है, टीचर मुझे भी सिखाइए ये कैसे करते हैं। तो ये भाषा जो है, ये हर एक के दिल को तुरंत छू जाती है। रंगों का बहुत इम्पोर्टेंट असर होता है हर ह्यूमन बीइंग पे। ऑल कलर्स हैव अ स्ट्रॉन्ग इम्पैक्ट ऑन अस। इमेजिन आपको कोई एक गहरे लाल रंग के कमरे में पूरा दिन के लिए अगर बंद कर दे, सुबह से लेकर शाम तक आपकी क्या हालत हो जाएगी। वो लाल रंग दिमाग को चढ़ जाएगा। इट अफेक्ट्स यू स्ट्रांगली, इट हैज अ वेरी वेरी स्ट्रांग इम्प्रेशन ऑन अस। So that is an example of how colors have an impact on it. So by the colors also that the teacher is using, she is training the child to think a certain way. She's creating a certain mood in the class by using specific colors. The teacher जो अपना ब्लैक बोर्ड है वो पुराना हो गया, अब सिर्फ व्हाइट बोर्ड्स आते हैं या इलेक्ट्रॉनिक बोर्ड्स आते हैं। ब्लैक बोर्ड्स हैव गॉन आउट ऑफ फैशन. But blackboards are beautiful because this drawing that you see has been done on a blackboard. They are beautiful because they allow you to work with your hands and with colors. I can show a ready-made PowerPoint slide to the children, but will it touch their soul the way this drawing does? It is the same as eating food made by mama versus eating food made in a restaurant, or wearing a sweater made by dadi versus wearing a ready-made sweater. It is the same thing. A teacher making the drawing for me. She has done this 4 hours of work for me, and versus the teacher just got a map from the internet and showed it to me. So emotions evoke emotions. Art evokes emotions, and then emotions evoke art. So it is a cycle that you begin by inspiring the children through art. So now, now this is an example of geography. Now this next slide, if you can come. Now this one is, if you see carefully, this is used for teaching history, a very boring subject to the children. Now this is about this is a scene where a team of archaeologists are unearthing the Harappan civilization. तो टीचर ने बहुत मेहनत करके डिटेल्स बना के ये बोर्ड पर रखा, और बच्चे क्लास में आए और बच्चों ने पूछा, टीचर ये क्या हो रहा है, ये कौन सी जगह है, ये क्या कर रहे हैं, क्या ये खोज रहे हैं? तो टीचर बोलेंगी, हाँ ये आर्कियोलॉजिस्ट है। टीचर, व्हाट आर आर्कियोलॉजिस्ट? So the thing is, the art touches you so much, it makes you so curious, it inspires you so much, and it immediately draws you closer to the person who has made it. जैसे ही आप कोई सुंदर ड्राइंग देखते हो, एकदम से सवाल आता है मन में, ये किसने बनाएंगे? और जिसे बनाई है फिर उसे पूछने का मन करता है कि आप क्या सोच रहे थे इसे बनाने में, क्योंकि ये ह्यूमन बीइंग की भाषा है। दिस इज द लैंग्वेज ऑफ द ह्यूमन बीइंग। लिखना, पढ़ना, ये सब ह्यूमैनिटी में बहुत रिसेंटली आए हैं। पिछले कुछ हजार सालों में रीडिंग एंड राइटिंग एंड स्पीच आए हैं। दे आर वेरी मॉडर्न ways of approaching education and of approaching the human being. But art is much deeper. It will engage the whole human being. It will engage the body, mind, and soul, bring everything together, and that is why It is a holistic way of teaching. Now, what happens, if you can go on to the next slide, is once I'm inspired, I can take inspiration and start working with art myself. Now, here the teacher wants to teach very young children about the letter M. So she will tell them a story about a mountain, and then she will draw a mountain, and they will draw a mountain, and then looking at the form of the mountain, you see an M hidden in the form of the mountain. And that is how she will draw out an M through the mountain. Next slide. In the same way, the teacher is teaching how birds make their shelters. And then on the next photo, she's showing how humans make their shelters. Now, why do I have to draw this in order to be able to understand this? Because when I draw, I am focused, I'm concentrating, I am using a space in a very particular way. I'm orienting myself to space. My mind is calming down, my breathing is getting regulated. And as I use the colors are educating me and evoking a mood within me. As I do that, I come closer to this bird and the way it makes its nest. I think deeply and lovingly about this bird. And then I think about the laborers who make the house, current day house in the other drawing. What art is doing is, I cannot meet these people or these birds in reality, but by drawing them, I bring myself very close to them and to who they are. So that is why children who are the most enthusiastic and active engagers in art need this as a language. It is imperative for them. So again, I repeat, intellectual work is important, but you cannot start intellectual work with children. You start with the feelings, you start with the heart, you start with the hands, and that will inform the brain. Okay, so can you bring the next slide? This is another example, learning math. Many children hate math, but if I bring a character called Malta Singh, जो बहुत ही खुशहाल, जोवियल, हैप्पी कैरेक्टर है, और जैसे ही उनके पास जो भी जाएगा, उनके साथ जो भी चीज आप उन्हें दो, वो उसको दुगना तिगुना कर देते हैं. He multiplies. If you bring him joy, he multiplies your joy. If you bring him happiness, he multiplies your happiness. If you bring him gems, he will multiply the number of gems you have. So I am introducing multiplication to the children through art by characterizing the qualities of multiplication. If multiplication was a human being, how would he look? And I bring this into a drawing and this yellow color, and then I bring the numbers. And the numbers are then handled by Malta Singh with his yellow clothes and with his cross sign. And that has touched my heart rather than just learning and rote learning the tables. So in this struggle of me and my paper, I learn a lot about myself. To draw the proportions of the body, of the head and the trunk and the limbs correctly, I'm struggling. All of you may have experiences. When you're trying to draw or paint, you have to struggle and try again and again and again. So that is where you start knowing who you are. Am I getting frustrated? Am I being impatient? Am I being restless? And then you learn to persevere because it's so interesting and it's so enjoyable. And so then you start self-discipline. You work more and more, you work harder to get it right. And then you feel self-confident because you have got it right. It takes work and skill to do art, and that gives you self-confidence. And this self-confidence can now allow me to express myself. I will express myself through colors and forms, and I will do it with an open heart. My last point is about morality also. Can you go to the next slide? Can art teach us how to be moral in nature? Yes, it can. You should never give a moral lesson to children. कि ऐसे करना चाहिए, वैसे करना चाहिए. They do not need those sermons from us. What they need is closeness to somebody who upholds moral values through art. Now here in this picture on the left, you will see It is Lord Ram and Sita and Lakshman. The moment they are leaving, they have left for exile and they are on the river Yamuna, about to cross it. So when I'm drawing the river and I'm drawing Ram sitting in that position and drawing Sita sitting in that position, I am touched by the pain of Ram that he has undertaken despite being a king and a god, and the love with which his brother and wife have come with him. So no amount of sermonizing, take care of your mother, take care of your brother, do what the elders say, will have the same impact as sitting and doing this drawing and saying, oh, how beautiful. And on the right is a picture when they are in exile and they start building their house. Oh, Lord Ram was not just a god and king who ordered around. He worked with his hands. But for that, I have to work with my own hands and draw to be able to know what it feels like being Lord Ram. So with that, I'll close my presentation, and I wish that everybody, all those who are listening, you practice art and you invite more and more art in your life.
Oh my God, Navjyoti ji, I got completely carried away and immersed. मैं हर एक painting, हर एक drawing में इतनी डूब गई थी, and I was thinking of myself, मैं खुद अगर ये करती तो मुझे क्या feelings आती, मैं क्या महसूस करती, और बच्चों के साथ इस्तेमाल करेंगे तो कितना मजेदार रहेगा. So there's so many things जो आपके talk से हमें मिले हैं. What are the major key takeaways? वो उसको मैं summarize करूंगी अब. पहले तो कि जो art है वो एक यूनिवर्सल लैंग्वेज है और सभी के लिए समान है. सो इट्स वन कॉमन लैंग्वेज जो हम सभी यूज कर सकते हैं. बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट पॉइंट आपने बताया है दैट रीडिंग एंड राइटिंग तो अभी अभी आने लगे पिछले थोड़े सालों में, बट आर्ट जो भाषा है वो कई सदियों पुरानी है और वो बहुत बहुत डीप है. सो आई थिंक वी नीड टू गो बैक टू आवर रूट्स एंड गेट बैक आर्ट इन आवर क्लासरूम मच मोर देन दैट वी यूज राइट नाउ. आर्ट करते वक्त पूरा ही मनुष्य व्यस्त हो जाता है. इट engages the entire human, all the different body parts, your hand, your muscles, your brain, all of it. So इसकी वजह से वापस learning improve होती है, learning ज्यादा retain होती है. आर्ट के द्वारा बच्चे खुद खींचे चले आते हैं, बच्चे इंस्पायर होते हैं और बच्चे प्रेरित होके आकर्षित होके बहुत कुछ और सीख सकते हैं. सो आई लव्ड योर एग्जांपल ऑफ मल्टा सेइंग एंड यू नो एम से कैसे माउंटेन बना दिया. तो हम यहाँ घिस घिस के हम डॉट्स बनाते हैं और बच्चों को बोलते इस पे ट्रेसिंग करो फिर एम बनाओ, पर वो सच सिंपल आइडिया माउंटेन का एम बनाया और उसमें से ऑटोमेटिकली एम लेटर इमर्ज हुआ है. एंड व्हाट आई आल्सो लव्ड अबाउट योर टॉक नवज्योति जी, दैट यू नो कि जब ये कॉन्स्टेंट स्ट्रगल हम सभी में रहता है. इट्स नॉट ओनली किड्स, इवन एज वी एडल्ट जब हम नई कुछ चीज सीखते हैं कॉन्स्टेंट एक स्ट्रगल रहता है जो सीखने के बीच में, लर्निंग और खुद के बीच में. तो ये उसकी दूरी कैसे कम की जाए. आर्ट इज अ वेरी पावरफुल मीडियम अगेन. जब मैं इंगेज होती हूँ, अपने हाथों का इस्तेमाल करती हूँ, पहले कुछ ड्राइंग, पेंटिंग, क्राफ्ट वर्क करती हूँ, ऑटोमेटिकली फिर जाके मेरे हाथ जो काम करते फिर मेरे ब्रेन तक वो इन्फॉर्मेशन जाती है और फिर ब्रेन तैयार होता है सीखने के लिए. इससे मैं सेल्फ डिसिप्लिन सीखती हूँ और सेल्फ डिसिप्लिन से धीरे धीरे प्रैक्टिस करते करते आई विल ट्राई टू गेट थिंग्स राइट एंड माई कॉन्फिडेंस विल इंक्रीज. जैसे कॉन्फिडेंस बढ़ता है ऑटोमेटिकली you will be more comfortable of expressing yourself. So thank you so very, very much, Navjyoti ji. It's very beautifully that you've showed us that art से, कला से आत्मविश्वास बढ़ता है, आत्म समझ बढ़ती है और आत्म अभिव्यक्ति भी बढ़ती है. So thank you very, very much. We'll go on to our next speaker now.
I would like to introduce our next speaker, Dr. Sachin Tambare. Sachin holds a Doctor of Physiology, PhD in Judo, Boxing, Archery, Physiology. He has been the head of sports in Asima Charitable Trust. He is also working as a physical education teacher in the Andhra Education Society's high school and junior college. He works as a physical education consultant in Muktangan Education Trust and Arjuna Sports Archery Academy. He is also a visiting faculty for sports management in Sydenham College. He has been a national level player for judo and a state level player for archery and boxing. 8+ years of coaching experience in boxing, volleyball, archery, judo, and chess. 5+ years personal fitness and sports specific training to athletes and competitive players.
आज के जमाने में बच्चों को बहुत सारी विभिन्न स्किल्स की जरूरत है। बच्चों को तो पहले प्रॉब्लम सॉल्व करना आना चाहिए। दे नीड टू बी क्रिएटिव एंड कम अप विद इनोवेटिव आइडियाज। उन्हें कम्युनिकेशन करना आना चाहिए सो दैट दे कैन एक्सप्रेस देयर थॉट्स एंड फीलिंग्स। प्लस उनको टीम वर्क भी करना आना चाहिए। सो इतनी सारी स्किल्स या सो मेनी स्किल्स या 21st सेंचुरी के लिए बच्चों को लगती है। कभी आपने सोचा, डिड यू एवर वंडर कि ये सारी स्किल्स फिजिकल एजुकेशन और फिजिकल एक्टिविटीज या एक्सरसाइज से हम हमारे अपने आप में इंस्टिल कर सकते हैं, इसको एनहांस कर सकते हैं? मैंने तो कभी नहीं सोचा था कि इतनी सारी एक्टिविटीज हमने स्कूलों में की है, फिजिकल एक्सरसाइज या पीई के क्लासेस में, बट मुझे नहीं लगता था कि कोई भी ऐसी स्किल्स मैंने सीखी मेरे स्कूल के टाइम पे। सो लेट्स हियर इट फ्रॉम डॉक्टर सचिन तंबारे, हु विल नाउ इलैबोरेट ऑन what is the role of physical education curriculum in developing 21st century skills?
Thank you, Zainab and Hetal. Am I audible clearly? Okay. So now Kamakshi and Navjyoti both have played like Tendulkar and Dravid. 2 centuries are already done, and now I'm going on the pitch, so you can understand pressure on me. So see, when we talk about physical education, it's not about education; it's just movement. We do think that it's sports, and then we think of competition whenever we talk about sports. So things come in mind that people are playing on ground, but actually in our day-to-day life, more activities are there. Let us take example. We take care of a small baby. When they can't reach somewhere, we help them to reach there. And whenever, small kids in school also, when they're struggling to do something, we help them. So when we help them like that, we are actually making them weak. Maybe all of you will not be agree with this point, because what I want to tell you is a little different subject. See, if you have seen egg of a chicken, and when that chicken come out of egg, they have struggle when they come out of it. They break it from inside, and if any human help that chicken to come out by separating pieces of eggs away, that chicken will die immediately, because those movements which are needed are actually strengthening that chicken to survive. So what we do whenever we feel that a small kid cannot do this, let us support. But first, let everyone try things. Any message here? Point shared. Okay.
No, Sachin, you can continue.
Yeah. Sorry. I thought a message came up. So whenever we support people, support small kids or our partners, so we should, first let anyone do that with the physical movement. Nowadays, in 21st century, what has happened? We have got many technologies. We got everything in easy way. Even our traveling has become more on vehicle. Human body is basically made with muscles and bones, and our basic movement is walking. Basic human movement is walking. Major muscle in body is hamstring muscle, which helps in walking. So nowadays, all of us, are you all understanding me in English, or should I go with some Hindi in between? थोड़ा हिंदी में बोलूंगा तो बेटर रहेगा, ऐसा लगेगा। हाँ, ठीक है। तो अगर हम चलते हैं तो हमारे सारे फिजिकल जो फिजिकल रिक्वायरमेंट्स है बॉडी के, वो चलने से कंप्लीट होते हैं। व्हेन वी टॉक इन एजुकेशन पार्ट, जब हम बच्चों को कुछ सिखाने जाते हैं, तो फर्स्ट ऑफ ऑल सबसे शुरू में उनको जो शरीर को जरूरी है वो मूवमेंट्स खुद से करने दो। हम सोचते हैं कि क्लास में डिसिप्लिन होना चाहिए, पर अगर बच्चा उठ के बीच में नाच रहा है तो यू अंडरस्टैंड दिस, उसकी बॉडी को जरूरत है कुछ ज्यादा एनर्जी रिलीज करने की। तो देर इट्स जस्ट फॉर यू टू अंडरस्टैंड कि उसके पास बहुत ज्यादा एनर्जी है, वो मस्ती कर रहा है, भाग रहा है। तो उस एनर्जी को रिलीज करने के लिए फिजिकल एक्टिविटी बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट है। कई लोगों का इंटरेस्ट स्पोर्ट्स में से कम हो जाता है। हमने देखा है कि क्लास में 4-5 बच्चे स्पोर्ट्स में बहुत अच्छे खेलते हैं, और फिर जो मेजोरिटी ऑफ क्लास है, दे रिस्पेक्ट देम, दे सी देम, बट समवेयर डीप इनसाइड दे फील उसके इतना अच्छा मैं नहीं कर पाता हूँ, तो जाने दो, उसको ही करने दो, मैं नहीं करता हूँ। एंड हियर इज आवर रोल कि दो, अगर ऐसा है कि कोई एक दो जन स्पोर्ट्स में अच्छे हैं, फिर भी बाकी सबका पार्टिसिपेशन उनके लाइफ के डेवलपमेंट के लिए बहुत ज्यादा जरूरी है। आप जितना, नॉट ओनली स्पोर्ट्स, जितना फिजिकल एक्टिविटी से कनेक्टेड रहोगे, आपका सेल्फ कॉन्फिडेंस उतना बढ़ता रहेगा। प्रॉब्लम ये है स्पोर्ट्स में कि स्पोर्ट्स को सिर्फ कंपटीशन के हिसाब से ही देखा गया है, और वो है, हेल्दी चीज है, कंपटीशन होना चाहिए, पर जो गिफ्टेड और टैलेंटेड लोग हैं वो उसमें अच्छा करेंगे। जो गिफ्टेड नहीं है, जो वो पर्टिकुलर चीज में बेस्ट नहीं है, पर उनके लिए भी वो उतना ही जरूरी है, ये हमें समझना चाहिए। फॉर अस ऑल्सो फिजिकल एक्टिविटी इज इंपॉर्टेंट। नाउ व्हाट ट्रेंड इज, नाउ एवरीबडी विल थिंक ऑफ गोइंग टू जिम। सब यही सोचेंगे कि हमें जिम में जाना है, वर्कआउट करना है, फिटनेस बनाना है, पर वो आपको बोरिंग लगेगा। तो सबके लिए वो सुटेबल नहीं है गोइंग टू द जिम। बट वॉट एवर यू लाइक, एनी फिजिकल मूवमेंट यू लाइक, चाहे वो एरोबिक्स हो, जुम्बा हो, डांस हो, वो आपने सबने कंटिन्यू करते रहना चाहिए। और जो क्लास में जो बच्चे हैं, यू टू अंडरस्टैंड द इंटरेस्ट। अब आप सब स्पोर्ट्स टीचर तो नहीं होगे, बट यू कैन मेक आउट, अगर कुछ बच्चे ऐसे हैं जो स्पोर्ट्स में अच्छे, बाकी बच्चे स्पोर्ट्स में अच्छे नहीं है, पर वो कोई डांस में बेटर है, कोई वॉकिंग अच्छे से कर रहे हैं, तो नॉट नेसेसरी कि वो सब कंपटीशन खेले, पर उस मोमेंट से उनकी रेगुलर लाइफ कंटिन्यू डेवलप होती रहेगी। नाउ व्हेन वी टॉक अबाउट 21st सेंचुरी स्किल्स, कोई भी गेम ले लो या कोई भी एक्टिविटी ले लो, वो करते वक्त आपके बॉडी के साथ साथ आपका ब्रेन भी उतना ही इन्वॉल्व होता है। व्हेन यू डू थिंग्स ऑन योर ओन, समझो कोई पानी का ग्लास भर के आप छोटे बच्चों के हाथ में दे दो, ट्रस्ट देम, लेट देम कैरी दैट ग्लास। वो करते वक्त हो सकता है वो एक आध बार गिर जाए, थोड़ा पानी यहाँ वहां स्पिल आउट हो जाए, बट लेट देम डू इट। दे विल अंडरस्टैंड ऑन देयर ओन व्हाइल डूइंग थिंग्स कि प्रॉब्लम्स को कैसे सॉल्व किया जाए। ऐसे एन नंबर ऑफ एग्जांपल्स है, आप में से कई लोग ऑलरेडी ये सब चीजों से गो थ्रू होते होंगे। जितना ज्यादा वो खुद से कुछ करेंगे, उतना ज्यादा प्रैक्टिकली वो अंडरस्टैंड करेंगे कि हमें कौन सी चीजों को कैसे प्रैक्टिस करके डेवलप करना है, नॉट जस्ट फिजिकली बट ऑल्सो मेंटली। द मोर योर बॉडी मूव्स, मोर योर ब्रेन गेट्स एक्टिवेटेड। I think I should stop here, and if anything is there, we can. I'll hand over it to Zainab and Hital.
ओके, थैंक यू सो मच सचिन सर। काफी क्रिस्प वे में आपने बताया क्यों शारीरिक शिक्षण इम्पोर्टेंट है और कैसे एक्टिविटीज के द्वारा हम बच्चों को 21st सेंचुरी स्किल्स के लिए प्रेरित कर सकते हैं। सो फिजिकल लिटरेसी जिसे कहते हैं या शारीरिक साक्षरता हमारे आई थिंक डेली लाइफ के लिए भी बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट है। हमारी रेगुलर जो एक्टिविटीज है उसके लिए हमें अवेयर होना चाहिए। शारीरिक जो एक्टिविटीज हम कर रहे हैं, हमारी मांसपेशियों के बारे में आपने बताया कि उसके प्रति हमें अवेयर होना चाहिए, सो दैट वी एग्जैक्टली नो कि हमारी बॉडी किस डायरेक्शन मूव हो रही है, कौन से मसल्स मूव हो रहे हैं, कौन से बोन स्केलेटल क्या मूव हो रहा है। और हमारे खुद के सेल्फ के लिए जब अगर हमें इंजरी हो जाती है, हमें गिर जाते हैं, हमें फॉल आता है, या खुद को अपने आप को सेल्फ डिफेंस से बचाने के लिए आई थिंक इस शारीरिक साक्षरता बहुत बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट है। एज एजुकेटर्स आई थिंक वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट जो सर ने बताया कि जब कोई भी फिजिकल एक्टिविटी में हम एंगेज करते हैं, हमें माइंडफुल रहना है। हम कोई भी गेम या कोई भी एक्टिविटी एक्सरसाइज प्लान करते हैं बच्चों के लिए, कौन से मेंटल एबिलिटीज भी उसमें इन्वॉल्व है। सो कौन से एक्टिविटीज या कौन से स्किल्स फिजिकल एक्टिविटीज के साथ साथ एनहांस होने वाले हैं। सो आई थिंक वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट प्लानिंग, योजना होती है। सेकंड, रीजनिंग होता है। एक सेम तरीके से ना सोचते हुए क्रिएटिव या डाइवर्जेंट थिंकर्स हम बच्चे में वो स्किल इंस्टिल कर सकते हैं। कम्युनिकेशन, व्हेन यू आर प्लेइंग टुगेदर, हम कोई गेम में या कोई एक्टिविटी में, फिजिकल एक्टिविटी में रहते हैं, काफी सारी टीम गेम्स होती है, उसमें कम्युनिकेशन की जरूरत होती है, टीम वर्क की जरूरत होती है। ऑटोमेटिकली जब बच्चा खेलता है, सेल्फ एस्टीम उसका बढ़ता है और दूसरे के प्रति, उसके अपोनेंट के प्रति उसको एम्पैथी आती है या सहानुभूति भी वो डेवलप करता है। एक बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट पॉइंट सर ने लास्ट में बताया कि स्पोर्ट्स सभी के लिए है। ज्यादातर क्या होता है कि हमारे क्लास में जब हम एक्टिविटीज करवाते हैं, हम सभी बच्चों को एक्टिविटीज के लिए इंकरेज करने चाहिए, फिजिकल एक्टिविटी के लिए। और रेगुलर पी क्लासेस में तो हम इंकरेज करना ही है, जिससे सभी बच्चे को लगे कि स्पोर्ट्स मेरे लिए भी बना है। लेकिन जो बच्चे गिफ्टेड है, जो ज्यादा टैलेंटेड है, उनके लिए भी हमें अपॉर्चुनिटीज एज टीचर्स, एज एजुकेटर्स क्रिएट करनी चाहिए, सो दैट हम उनको नेक्स्ट लेवल तक लेके जा सकते हैं। थैंक यू सो मच सचिन सर। And now we move on to our last speaker, last but not the least, Dr. Nivedita Chalill. Ketan, over to you.
I would like to introduce our last speaker of the day today, Dr. Nivedita Chalill. She is the founder of ARTH, a medical health initiative that offers counseling and art-based therapy service for people dealing with mental health issues. ARTH also provides various workshops and training programs for individuals, groups, and organizations. She is a trained occupational therapist, art-based therapist, and a psychiatric social worker with a doctorate from the Tata Institute of Social Science. She has provided care in diverse mental health settings, ranging from hospitals to rehabilitation centers, and has worked in crisis areas such as suicide prevention and disaster relief post-earthquakes and tsunami. She is a student of Buddhist philosophy from Tibet House and facilitates courses on applied Buddhist psychology with an aim of bringing this profound wisdom and compassion to our daily lives.
Okay, so by integrating values या मूल्य को हम हमारे रेगुलर क्लासरूम एक्सपीरियंसेस में अगर इंक्लूड करते हैं, तो एज टीचर्स एंड एजुकेटर्स हम सिर्फ वैल्यूज ही नहीं सिखा रहे हैं, बट उनके चरित्र को डेवलप करने के लिए, कैरेक्टर डेवलपमेंट में बच्चों को मदद करते हैं, उनकी सोशल इमोशनल लर्निंग में हम मदद करते हैं, एथिकल डिसीजंस लेने में उनको बढ़ावा मिलता है, रेजिलियंस में बढ़ावा मिलता है, और ऑल्सो द चाइल्ड फील्स बीइंग इंक्लूडेड। सो ये सब कुछ बच्चों को पर्सनली, सोशली, इमोशनली एंड वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट एज एजुकेटर्स अकेडमिकली, जो हमारा फोकस हमेशा रहता है, अकेडमिकली मदद करता है। सो नाउ आई इनवाइट डॉक्टर निवेदिता चलील टू आंसर आवर लास्ट क्वेश्चन फॉर द वेबिनार. How important is it to bring values into education to ensure holistic curriculum for the physical and well-being of a child? Over to you, Nivedita.
Thank you so much, Zainab and Hetal. Audible? Okay, great. Let me first say good afternoon to everybody. And also a special thank you to all of the earlier speakers, because frankly, I really enjoy being the last speaker on the panel. काफी लगता है मेरा काम निपट गया है. Many people have said many wonderful things, and it really makes my work easy. So immense gratitude to Kamakshi and Navjyoti ji and Sachin. Sushma ji, a special thanks to you for putting your camera on. Especially, I've noticed Sushma Chaskar has got 2 or 3 windows, for sharing the link. Nafisa ji, to you as well. Because frankly, ये online COVID के time पे we were forced to move, and it's been very, very helpful. But एक तरह से वो शक्लें दिखती नहीं है, तो एक incomplete सा feeling आता है. So it's really nice for you all to keep your camera on and for showing us your faces. For all the others, of course, if you can, थोड़ी देर के लिए at least show us your lovely faces. It will make our day better. Preeti, hi, so nice to see you. Thank you, Deepali. Thank you, Tanraj. Okay. Thank you, Jumana. अच्छा लगता है ना सबकी शक्लें देख के. नहीं तो हम अपनी वेलबींग की बात करते हैं. थैंक यू शहनाज, थैंक यू भाग्यश्री, तस्नीम, सो लवली, द होल स्क्रीन इज लाइटिंग अप. हम लोग जब वेलबींग की बात करते हैं ना, वेलबींग कभी खुद से नहीं बनता. इट रियली बिकम्स एंड इट कम्स इनटू बीइंग इन एग्जिस्टेंस विद ईच अदर. तो ये जो सारे हमारे टॉक्स थे फ्रॉम द पास्ट आवर एंड अ हाफ, म्यूजिक के ऊपर था, आर्ट के ऊपर था, स्पोर्ट्स के ऊपर था. One is our own well-being, but in some ways my talk is also shifting focus from development of the person to also saying how do we interact with each other. For example, when you also kindly put your camera on when I asked you, what is this? This is kindness, ना कि किसी ने आपसे रिक्वेस्ट की है, प्यार से की है, तो आप रिस्पॉन्ड करते हो. एंड दिस इज नथिंग बट वैल्यूज. हम लोग जो मूल्य की बात करते हैं, मूल्य कोई टॉपिक नहीं है जो टेक्स्ट बुक में खोल के हम देखें. यही होता है मूल्य विच वी आर एम्बॉडिंग इन आवर डेली लाइफ. सो फॉर ऑल ऑफ यू, थैंक यू वेरी मच फॉर डेमोन्स्ट्रेटिंग that how critical values are in our social interaction. और यही हम अपने बच्चों को भी लेके आ सकते हैं. बिकॉज हमारे बच्चों को अगर आप देखोगे, when they are coming into school, they are all studying. कितने साल ना, मतलब केजी तो आजकल तो 3 साल हो चुका है, नर्सरी हुआ, 2 साल किंडरगार्टन का हुआ, फिर 10 साल स्कूल का हुआ, फिर 12th, फिर ग्रेजुएशन, और आजकल ग्रेजुएशन के बाद भी जॉब नहीं मिल रहा है तो और 2 साल मास्टर्स का. इतने साल जो हम लोग पढ़ रहे हैं, वी मस्ट स्टॉप एंड से व्हाई आर वी इवन स्टडिंग, व्हाट इज द पर्पस ऑफ एजुकेशन. इसका पूरा लक्ष्य क्या है पढ़ने का. एंड देन वी रियलाइज दैट आवर पर्पस ऑफ स्टडिंग इज एक्चुअली ओनली टू क्रिएट अ करियर. काम काज करना है, अच्छा जॉब मिलना है, वो एक तरह से काम हुआ. इफ आई लुक एट इट फ्रॉम अ सोशल पॉइंट ऑफ व्यू एंड एवरीबडी इज गेटिंग अ जॉब, देन फ्रैंकली व्हाट इज इट सेइंग कि इकोनॉमिक इनपुट्स चाहिए. या तो बोलते हैं कि नहीं, खुद की पर्सनैलिटी डेवलप होनी चाहिए, विच इज एन इंडिविजुअल चॉइस. या तो दे हैव टू बिकम बेटर सिटीजन्स इन द वर्ल्ड. बिकॉज आप दुनिया की हाल चाल देखोगे, यू विल रियलाइज द वर्ल्ड रियली नीड्स गुड पीपल टुडे, नो. Good people who are strong, good people who are kind, whose heart is in the right place. तो हम जब एजुकेशन के बारे में सोचते हैं, और इवन दिस फ्रेज होलिस्टिक एजुकेशन, एजुकेशन शुड ऑलवेज बी होलिस्टिक. जब इतने साल हम लोग स्पेंड करते हैं एजुकेशन में, अगर वो सिर्फ हमें साइंस और मैथ सिखाया जाता है, देन विल इट बी होलिस्टिक. इट मीन्स आई विल लर्न हाउ टू मेक, फॉर एग्जाम्पल, मेडिसिन और कोविड वैक्सीन जो हम सबको जरूरत पड़ी थी, और आई कैन लर्न हाउ टू मेक अ बॉम्ब. वही मैथ्स और वही साइंस से वही दोनों चीजें बनी थी, पर फायदा किससे ज्यादा होता है, नुकसान किससे ज्यादा होता है. वो जो सोच है हमको कहाँ से आएगा, वैल्यूज से आता है. दैट कम्स फ्रॉम बीइंग एबल टू अंडरस्टैंड विच डायरेक्शन इन विच आई शुड यूज माई नॉलेज. समझो कल आपका बच्चा, एंड कुड बी योर ओन चाइल्ड, कुड बी अ चाइल्ड इन योर स्कूल, इज द सीईओ ऑफ अ वेरी फैंटास्टिक मल्टीनेशनल सोडा कंपनी. अब हर दिन डिसीजंस बनाते रहते हैं. आज हम ग्राउंड वाटर से पानी निकाले, बोरवेल से पानी निकाले क्या अपने सोडा बनाने के लिए. शुड यू टेक इट, शुड यू नॉट टेक इट. निकालोगे तो फायदा है आपकी कंपनी को, प्रॉफिट होगा. निकालोगे तो आसपास की सारी कम्युनिटीज की पानी कम हो जाएगी. जो लेडीज पानी कलेक्ट करने जाती है उनको कई किलोमीटर और चलना पड़ेगा. व्हाट शुड यू डू. ऑल ऑफ दीज आर चॉइसेस विच वी हैव टू मेक. जो इफ यू रियलाइज, हमारी एजुकेशन सिस्टम, स्पेशली, एटलीस्ट मेरे बाल तो सफेद हो गए, सो आई कैन से इन आवर स्कूल्स इतना कुछ उन एस्पेक्ट्स पे हमको सीख नहीं मिली थी. एक आध कुछ सब्जेक्ट था कल्चर कोर्स करके, जहाँ पे कुछ कुछ रिलीजियस स्टोरीज सिखाते थे, बट वो वहीं पे रह जाता था. वो एक 45 मिनट्स का क्लास था हफ्ते में. इट वॉज नॉट इंटीग्रेटेड कि मैथ साइंस में हम वैल्यूज का क्या करें, मैथ साइंस में हम इन चीजों को कैसे लेके आए. So what I want us to really start thinking is, ये जो पर्पस है हमारे एजुकेशन का, सिर्फ बच्चों को मैथ, साइंस, हिस्ट्री, ज्योग्राफी सिखाना नहीं है. वो बहुत जरूरी है, बिकॉज क्रिटिकल थिंकिंग वगैरह वगैरह, लॉजिक, ऑल ऑफ दिस विल कम. But along with that, how do they make decisions is something which is very important to remember. So we really start by looking at values, by examining not only how we do things. So for example, Kamakshi ji, Navjyoti ji और Sachin ji mentioned, हम लोग स्पोर्ट्स यूज कर सकते हैं, आर्ट यूज कर सकते हैं, म्यूजिक यूज कर सकते हैं, मेमोरी बढ़ाने के लिए, अटेंशन बढ़ाने के लिए, ऑल ऑफ दिस, राइट. एंड इसी तरह से जो क्रिएटिविटी आ सकती है क्लास में, वी कैन यूज द सेम क्रिएटिविटी इवन टू टॉक अबाउट वैल्यूज. वी कैन यूज स्टोरी टेलिंग. आई डोंट नो आप लोगों को कितना याद है, ये स्टोरी सुना था कि नहीं, कि बहुत सारे कबूतर थे और वो the hunter comes and he throws a net on all of the pigeons. Now all of them are stuck under the net. How do they all talk to each other and they say, what if we fly together? Then maybe we can escape. What do these stories also tell us? They teach us values, no? Collaboration, teamwork. So kahin tarike hai to be able to bring values into our life. But the most important thing is what you all demonstrated when you put your camera on. You demonstrated embodying it to tell us that values हम लोग सिर्फ बात नहीं करेंगे, हम उसको embody करते हैं. So we'll try another small experiment which we do frankly in all our classes. इसको हम बोलते हैं intention setting. मेरे कुछ values हैं which I try to bring into every session. So now I will use all of you also as my space of saying, can we bring these values? One value is gratitude. Gratitude is a sense of abundance, आभार. इतना कुछ हमको मिलता है ना. But most of the time, if you realize, हमारा मन कहाँ focused है, जो चीज नहीं मिला. अगर आपके मार्क्स 7 सब्जेक्ट में बहुत अच्छे थे, वो 8वें सब्जेक्ट में खाम खा वो ग्रेड निकल गया, बस वहीं पे मन अटका है. समझो आपने डिनर रखा, 15 लोग आए थे खाने के लिए, सारे डिशेस बहुत बढ़िया थे, बस एक बंदे को कुछ एक अच्छा नहीं लगा, अब बस वो ताना घूमता है मन में. But suppose we replace it with the attitude of gratitude. Okay, what can we create gratitude for? If you realize just now in this moment, right? आपको और मेरे लिए बात करने के लिए in this common space, how many things were necessary? Muktangan had to kindly say, let's host this webinar. कहीं से तो somebody had to say, अच्छा ये निवेदिता करके कोई है, इनको बुला देते हैं. Then somebody had to make a poster, send it out. How many people do you think got the poster before you got it? फिर आपने register किया वो Zoom link के लिए, फिर 2-3 बार check किया कि अरे reply आया कि नहीं, which means internet had to work, somebody had to hold those servers over there. Correct? So when we start creating gratitude, we bring this space up of how much it has taken, which feels so normal, na? Ki Zoom ka to meeting hai, what's the big deal? But what's the big deal is how many events it has taken for this moment to occur. We cultivate that sense of abundance. We also cultivate this gratitude for this lovely group of people who are here right now. नहीं तो अगर ये लोग नहीं होते, right? If all of you have made a choice to say, can I learn something new in this moment? आप लोग कितनी कुछ कर सकते थे अभी. You could have taken a nap. You could have been watching Netflix or Amazon Prime या जो भी आप देखते हो, right? Or putting on some channel or generally sat dozing out. But you've made a choice to come here. How spectacular that is. And most importantly, would I have anything to share with you if I did not have very kind teachers who taught me something? So special thanks also to all of our teachers who have not only taught us how to think, how to act, but also how to be with each other. And today, of course, special thanks to His Holiness, because a lot of what I'm going to share to you comes from this book. The book is called Beyond Religion, Ethics for a Whole New World. For people here who are coming from schools, institutes, I am definitely recommending this book from a space of values, because what it does is it brings together a certain level of understanding, which is really very logic-based, and a certain amount of practice, which we can all bring into our life. His Holiness speaks about 2 things as our basic understanding. एक ये है कि you and I are not any different, ना? जैसे ही अपने बच्चे in our schools and colleges are not any different. Everybody may choose different streams, we may dress differently, talk differently, भाषाएं अलग हो सकती हैं. But at the end of the day, all of us want happiness. Anybody here who woke up in the morning saying, नहीं, आज ना मुझे एक खराब दिन चाहिए. कोई भी यहाँ पे उठ के वो wish नहीं करता. All of us want happiness. Second, all of us don't want suffering. Headache वाला काम नहीं चाहिए. Right? And this similarity, this common humanity is there in all of us, which means that when we encourage, work with people, we use this common humanity as our understanding to even build values. तो फिर जो चीज मुझे अच्छी लगी. So for example, when we were all babies, right? Now whether we remember or not, कभी तो babies हम सभी थे. And for all of you who have seen babies or had babies, do you realize वो पहले कितने महीने के लिए बच्चा अपना सर नहीं पकड़ सकता, right? In that 3 months or 4 months, still your child can hold their head. एक मिनट के लिए भी किसी ने अगर आपका सर गिराया, do you understand? We may not have survived. Can you imagine how much kindness it has taken? कि 3 महीने nobody let our head fall. भूलना इजी है, पेरेंट्स पे गुस्सा आना इजी है, जो केयर गिवर्स थे वो लोग तो मेरी बात नहीं सुनते, ये नहीं करते, वो नहीं करते, very easy. But when we bring this kindness to mind, we start being able to value interconnection. So there is common humanity and there is interconnection as the foundation of all values. और ये दोनों चीजें, if our schools and institutes and even in our families, if we can keep emphasizing, it creates a great amount of benefit. So we cultivate gratitude in our mind, and when we recognize this interconnectedness, then we also know that we have to not only get things from our teachers and others who have been kind, but हमको pass on भी तो करना है. And when we pass it on, we do it with certain amount of responsibility. So all of this, which is gratitude, interconnectedness, we use it to set our intention at the beginning of every activity. Saying, मेरा मन क्या बोल रहा है? Why am I doing this? चाहे आप चाय बना रहे हो, चाहे आपका मैथ्स पेपर ले रहे हो, चाहे कोई प्रोजेक्ट या सबमिशन हो, we clarify our intention, because what we want students to do, or all of us to do, is become really stronger. Every moment, every task, every activity helps us become stronger. So we use all of this to transform ourselves. So broadly, gratitude, interconnectedness, and being able to reflect on our own self, ताकि हम एकदम ख्याल से, ध्यान से we are able to work. And there are many, many ways to bring values into our daily life. You know, there's a beautiful book by Brené Brown called Dare to Lead. I'm going to share. She's come up with a wonderful activity on values. So this kind of a sheet on Brené Brown's Dare to Lead list of values is easily available online. No need to bother yourself with screenshots or anything else. ये आप online बस type in करोगे, ऐसी lists आपके पास कहीं बार आएंगी. So all our schools, or even in our classrooms, or even in our families, we can use this list or make our own and start saying what is important for us. So simply you could mark out, or you could write down what values you feel are important, in the sense of ways of being that you feel are going to be helpful even in the classroom. For example, bullying बंद करने के लिए, collaboration, teamwork बढ़ाने के लिए, एक दूसरे को support करने के लिए, all of these aspects get covered with values. So using this as a way of setting up values can be extremely helpful, and using what the earlier speaker spoke about, we can be creative in how we do it. It doesn't mean we have to keep it as a separate subject. We can merge this into all our classrooms. चाहे आप maths या science सिखा रहे हो या history सिखा रहे हो, you can also start demonstrating history, for example, to talk about, was there responsibility taken? Was there load sharing? Was there a lot of other elements where perhaps values were not followed, which led to wars, or which led to famines, which led to a deeper understanding of what was going on? And after we choose and create these values, His Holiness very kindly gives us what I've merged into a 3x3, 3 ways to sustain your value practice. Which means once you have selected your values, can you make sure that the direction of your value is in, the first direction is to do no harm. Can we restrict what is destructive in us? Can we try to do good, which means values which are based on wisdom of being able to look at common humanity and being able to look at interconnectedness. And the most important direction perhaps is to say, can we transcend self? Can we look beyond? I remember Taj के terror attacks के बाद हम लोग groups के साथ काम करते थे वहाँ पे. And you know, the one story or repeated stories which kept coming to us, how one person got up to save many others. And these were not only leaders. They were waiters, they were hotel staff, they were in all different positions, different genders, different socio-economic groups. But they were able to move beyond their own safety and think about everyone else. The other part is deepening our understanding of values. And iske liye na, our old Nalanda University had come up with a wonderful method, which said first you study, which means you understand and build conviction on what you're studying. Second is you reflect on it, which means think about it and see does it make sense. And third is you act on it, ताकि वो जो आप act करोगे, it continues to strengthen and deepen our understanding. And the third aspect of saying how to make this a part of our daily life. For example, अगर आप चाहो करुणा को ले लो as your example, you want to bring Karuna into your daily life, you will discover that you have limited capacity to do it. So how do we do it is first, we become very cautious, we become heedful for whatever is happening around us. We become mindful, where we keep recollecting these values to our mind so we don't forget it. And then we become aware of our own behavior and actions. इससे क्या है? We are able to move slowly towards better and better embodying all of these values that we talk about. That way, we not only just talk about it, but we're really able to practice it better. So with that, I thank you all for your attention. And I will do one more small practice which we like to engage in, which is called dedication. If we look at common humanity and we look at interconnectedness, and then you compare that with where we are, most of the time, जैसे ही कुछ cool होता है, we are like photo ले ले, selfie ले लेते, post करते हैं social media पे, then people will know how cool I am. So instead, we can try to make that, we can flip that around and recognize that in this moment where we have been so lucky to sit with each other, to learn from each other, many people may not be having this space. So can we take what we have learned and move forward? So we take a moment to dedicate that all of the goodness, all of the merit which has come up from this session, may it continue to create ripples all around us and spread to benefit sentient beings everywhere. Your own families, your communities, your schools, teachers, Muktangan, and everyone else. And with that, thank you very much.
Thank you so very much, Dr. Nivedita. And I know sabhi ko kam samay diya gaya tha, and I feel you could go on talking and you all would have been still so immersed and been so much carried away with all that you're talking. But just to summarize, because we'll have to end the webinar in the next couple of minutes, बहुत ही अच्छे comments भी आ रहे हैं, that very insightful. Thank you so much again. I'm just trying to practice जो आपने कहा, gratitude. You know, we do take things for granted. So thank you, my heartfelt gratitude to you, Nivedita, and to all the speakers for being a part of our seminar today, of our webinar. So just to summarize what Nivedita ji ने कहा है, कि मूल्य को क्लास में लाना या वैल्यूज को क्लास में लाना बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट है, और उसके लिए कोई अलग सब्जेक्ट या 30-40 मिनट्स जरूरी नहीं है अलग से प्रैक्टिस करना. ये हमारे रेगुलर क्लासरूम्स में, हमारे रेगुलर कोर्स सब्जेक्ट्स में हम इंक्लूड कर सकते हैं. लाइक शी गिव एन एग्जांपल ऑफ हिस्ट्री. सो मुझे इमीडिएटली आया कि हम हमेशा वॉर और झगड़े और बैटल्स की बात करते, बट हाउ अबाउट टॉकिंग अबाउट कंपैशन, व्हाट लेड टू दैट वॉर, क्या हुआ होगा उसके बाद. सो दीज वैल्यूज व्हिच आर मिसिंग फ्रॉम टुडेज वर्ल्ड, आई थिंक कैन बी डन थ्रू हिस्ट्री लेसन्स. एंड अगर हम वैल्यूज को क्लास में लाते तो डेफिनेटली बच्चे जैसे बढ़ते हैं वो नैतिक निर्णय या एथिकल डिसीजंस लेने में उनको मदद करेगा. एक पॉजिटिव सोसाइटी में रहना या पॉजिटिव सोसाइटी बनाने में बच्चों को मदद करेगा. बच्चे सहानुभूति ज्यादा, I think they'll be able to develop if values are brought in our regular classrooms. वो एक दूसरे की समस्या समझ सकते हैं, वो आत्म जागरूक भी हो सकते हैं. They'll be more self-aware if they are aware of these values and what am I feeling, what am I, self-reflection जैसे reflection जो निवेदिता जी ने कहा. And also I think the relationship between two people, interpersonal skills को भी बहुत मदद करेगा. 3 top things that I would take from Nivedita ma'am's conversation with us is, one is gratitude. So changing our attitude, having or developing an attitude of gratitude, जो है उसके लिए शुक्रगुजार होना या उसका आभार मानना, rather than criticizing and brooding and sulking, क्या मेरे पास नहीं है, जो मेरे पास है, that's enough for me for right now, for this time. Let's be happy about it. Second thing that she spoke about is interconnectedness, how all of us are interconnected. The very fact that हम सभी लोग अभी 55 लोग इस मीटिंग में हैं, हमारे YouTube चैनल पे I think about 100+ people are watching. We all are so interconnected, and that is why it brought us to a common topic, or we showed interest and we came for this webinar. So ये interconnectedness को कैसे बढ़ावा दे बच्चों में by getting values in our classroom. And third and the last thing she spoke about is dedication. Gratitude है, interconnectedness है, we have the understanding, but इसको आगे कैसे लिया जाए? How do we take this forward? And I've loved the tool that she showed us right now about Dare to Lead, जहाँ पे वैल्यूज दिए हैं, मूल्य दिए हैं, वहां से आप अपना मूल्य जो है आप उसको पिकअप कीजिए, अपने कोर्स सब्जेक्ट में इंक्लूड कीजिए. एंड देयर आर डिफरेंट वेज, देयर इज अ डायरेक्शन दिया है किस दिशा में हमें वैल्यूज को जाना है. तो हम कैसे जो गलतियां है, जो चीजें अच्छी नहीं उसको रिड्यूस करें, जो अच्छाइयां है, जो विजडम है, जो ह्यूमैनिटी, ह्यूमन के साथ इंटरेक्शन करना, जो स्किल्स है उसको बढ़ावा दे, और कैसे हमारे आप में से बियॉन्ड जाके दूसरे लोगों को हम कंपैशनेटली हम उसके साथ डील करें. Second part was to study. हम study करें, हम reflect करें, उस पे हम act करें. And last part is to use it in a daily practice, being heedful and mindful, and make it a part of our living. Thank you so much, Nivedita ji, and thank you to all our speakers. Over to you, Hetal. Okay, so before I invite Hetal, let's look at any questions that we have. हमारे at least Zoom chat में तो नहीं दिखाई दे रहा है. Shruti ji, can you help me? Is there any?
There are no questions in the Zoom chat, but
And
we
what about
can also
YouTube?
ask audience if anyone still wants to ask the question directly to the speaker, if they can address any question.
So now is your chance to unmute yourself, everyone. आप अपने आप को unmute कर सकते हैं और कोई प्रश्न है. We do have about 7 minutes. And it could be for any speaker. एक common प्रश्न हम तीनों को पूछ सकते हैं, चारों को पूछ सकते हैं. I think कामाक्षी मैम नहीं है. But other of all our 3 speakers are here. Dr. Nivedita is here, Navjyoti is there, and Dr. Sachin is also here. किसी को कोई प्रश्न है? Okay, so in that case, I think I will ask a question to all 3 of you. And maybe turn by turn आप तीनों 3 आंसर कर सकते हैं. आज का पूरा फोकस हमारा होलिस्टिक एजुकेशन करिकुलम पे था और कैसे वो फिजिकल और वेल बीइंग में मदद करता है. सो क्या लगता है, व्हाट इज द रोल ऑफ अ कल्चरल एंड एनवायरमेंटल कोई फैक्टर्स है, हाउ डू दे प्ले अ रोल इन होलिस्टिक एजुकेशन? हमारे संस्कृति और एनवायरमेंट में, वातावरण में ऐसे कुछ फैक्टर्स है या जो बढ़ावा दे सकती है, जो एज अ रोड ब्लॉक, एज अ चैलेंज आ सकता है होलिस्टिक एजुकेशन में बच्चों के? सुषमा जी, आपको कुछ बताना है? सुषमा जी, आई थिंक शी इज अनम्यूट बाय मिस्टेक. So maybe we'll just take a minute for our speakers also to reflect on the question. What role do cultural and environmental factors play in the holistic education of a child?
Okay, I'll start and then maybe Navjyoti ji and Sachin can
Yes,
help.
Nivedita, please go ahead. Thank you.
So I feel all of us are not growing in a vacuum. ना? मतलब हम लोग सबके आसपास there is not only family, family also is not in a vacuum. जनरेशन से हम कुछ कुछ सीखते आए हैं, कुछ कुछ वैल्यू करते आए हैं, कुछ नियम होते हैं. हर घर का आप देखोगे rules are slightly different, and same way अपनी communities and other aspects also is different. One of the few things which is very different for this current space and time, and I won't say generation, is technology. All of us, if you realize, are sitting like this all day long, you know. And I remember this client had come to our clinic where the mother had brought the child saying, my child is addicted to the mobile phone. पूरे सेशन के टाइम पे जब मैं बच्चे के साथ बात कर रही थी, the mother was also sitting there, and you know what the mother was doing? Mother was on the mobile phone. So हम बच्चों को बोलते हैं, but how are we and what are we doing? Because we are role models for our children all the time. And frankly, if not for our children, somebody else at any point of time. Technology has bombarded our lives. And unfortunately, the news which keeps coming up is also based on habits we have because algorithms get created. So ek tarah se we get almost brainwashed into thinking in a certain way. So are you being able to instead use technology a little wisely? It's not, technology is not a bad thing. It's a tool. जैसे एक आपके पास हथौड़ा हो, you can use that हथौड़ा to help and create something. You can use it to destroy something. Technology भी वैसी ही है. If you are able to use it in a manner which brings you wisdom, which brings you patience, brings you learning, that's great. So I think becoming conscious of all of these factors and being able to find a way to utilize it helpfully is the most important part.
Thank you so much, Nivedita ji. Navjyoti ji, would you like to go next?
Yeah, Zainab. Cultural environmental factors का बहुत बड़ा असर होता है. They definitely have a huge impact on what we do with children, and in my case, talking about art. एक और हमारे कल्चर में, इंडिया में, art was one of the most beautiful and important and revered things. इन एंशियंट टाइम्स, और वो हम हमारी मूर्तियों में, हमारी जो एंशियंट तस्वीरें बनी हैं, जो केव वगैरह में, गुफाओं में दिखी हैं, ड्राइंग्स वगैरह, कार्विंग्स वगैरह, it is a very clear statement that इंडिया में हमेशा से ही आर्ट की बहुत कदर होती थी। आज शायद थोड़ी कम हो गई है। आज अगर कोई बच्चा कहता है मैं बड़ा होकर आर्टिस्ट बनना चाहता हूँ, तो सब हंसेंगे शायद उस बच्चे पर, कहेंगे कि आर्टिस्ट बनने से क्या होता है। और आर्टिस्ट बनने से हम इंसानियत अपनी वापस ला सकते हैं। तो उसका प्रोफेशन बने या नहीं बने, आर्ट के लिए कदर होना बहुत जरूरी है कल्चर में। हमारे कल्चर में पहले था और अब नहीं है, तो उसमें कोई शर्म नहीं होगी। और अगर हम किसी और कल्चर की तरफ देखें जो आर्ट की कदर कर रहा है और उनको सीख जाएं, तो वो भी एक तरीका है कि अगर अपना कल्चर और एनवायरनमेंट नहीं भी उसे एनकरेज कर रहा है, अगर हम अपना ही कल्चर भूल गए हैं, बाहर ग्लोबलाइजेशन का जमाना है, बाहर जाके भी देखें, बहुत कदर है सब दुनिया में आर्ट की, म्यूजिक की, ओवरऑल मेंटल हेल्थ की। तो सबसे सीखें, सिर्फ अपनी कल्चर और एनवायरनमेंट तक नहीं सीमित रहें, सबसे सीखें, पूरी पूरी सृष्टि को अपना समझकर बस जो सही है, जो अच्छा है, जो खूबसूरत है, उसे बढ़ावा दें।
Thank you so much, Navjyoti ji. Dr. Sachin?
Yeah, thank you, Janet. Cultural things in sports, if we see, earlier physical movements were only hunting, farming, and then we developed Indian culture, where we used to do archery, then wrestling was there, then Malakam was there, Kho-Kho was there. Now we have adopted culture from Western countries and we play volleyball, basketball, football, cricket. So I won't say that because of culture things are went wrong, but there is balance. I mean, multiple activities are added now. So now we have more choices to participate. So the adding of different cultures we have, I'm very positive about it that even if we adopt a different new culture, in every culture there are physical activities. So we can take on, we can select any activity from multiple available various options. Okay.
Okay, so thank you very much to all our three speakers. Just to summarize, जो तीनों ने कहा है कि what role या क्या किरदार हमारी संस्कृति और इन्वायरमेंट, हमारा जो वातावरण प्ले करता है होलिस्टिक एजुकेशन में। निवेदिता जी ने बहुत ब्यूटीफुली बताया कि हम कोई अकेले वैक्यूम में नहीं पैदा होते और नहीं रहते हैं, आसपास के करंट टाइम्स के साथ हमें मूव करना है। एंड शी स्पोक अ लॉट अबाउट टेक्नोलॉजी एंड यूजिंग टेक्नोलॉजी वाइजली। हमें जैसे अभी भी हम इस वेबिनार में टेक्नोलॉजी की वजह से जुड़े हुए हैं, बट इसको कैसे सही इस्तेमाल करना है, दैट इज व्हाट वी नीड टू बी माइंडफुल ऑफ। निवेदिता जी ने, नवज्योति जी ने बताया कि कैसे एक्चुअली इंडियन आर्ट जो है वो सबसे ज्यादा रिच या मूल्यवान है, बट जैसे जैसे समय बढ़ रहा है, हम आगे बढ़ रहे हैं, हम हमारा खुद का जो रूट्स है, हमारे कल्चर है, हमारे आर्ट को भूल रहे हैं। बट इंडिया के बाहर जाओ, इट्स वेरी वेरी मच ग्लोबलाइज एंड लॉट ऑफ पीपल आर अप्रिशिएटिंग इंडियन आर्ट। एंड आई थिंक समवेयर आई डू सी द ट्रेंड कि वापस आर्ट फॉर्म आ रहा है इंडिया में। सो वी नीड टू रिस्पेक्ट दैट एंड रिमेंबर आवर रूट्स एंड कम बैक टू इट, गेट इट बैक इन आवर क्लासरूम्स। एंड लास्ट बट नॉट द लीस्ट, सचिन जी ने आई थिंक निवेदिता जी के टॉक से काफी प्रेरित हुए। उन्होंने ग्रेटिट्यूड का थोड़ा मैंने रिफ्लेक्शन देखा उनकी बातों में। उन्होंने कहा चॉइसेस बहुत सारे हैं, जो नहीं है वो काफी पॉजिटिव है, जो चीज छूट गई है, बहुत सारे स्पोर्ट्स अभी एक्टिविटी नहीं हो पा रहे बट नए से रिप्लेस हो रहा है। सो ही इज क्वाइट होपफुल एंड पॉजिटिव कि हम कोई भी एक एक्टिविटी जो है इस्तेमाल करें और उससे आगे बढ़े। सो देयर इज नो हार्म, ग्लोबलाइजेशन हो रहा है, वेस्टर्न चीजें हमारे इंडियन कल्चर में आ रही है, बट स्टिल देयर इज नो हार्म। So thank you so much, everyone.
I think there is one point for me in chat box. If I read that, I think that is for me.
Yes, you can look at it. Yeah.
Nowadays, children are moving away from actual physical sports and playing the same sport on the phone. They'll do what is available. Who give them phone? See, whatever is available, they will be engaged in that. If you give them ground, they'll be busy on ground. If you give them phone, they'll be busy on phone. So it's all up to us. I mean, we have seen the change. We are, as Nivedita ma'am just mentioned that technologies are, into our life. And then that mother was seeing phone when she was counseling the child. So same with us, they will just follow what we are doing. We are worried about their future, but we'll really have to worry about our present now. If we live in present right now, what we are doing, that matters more. It's going to happen with them. I mean, some message comes.
So you can continue.
That's fine. Okay. That's it. That's it. I want to say that. I mean, if we give them opportunity to be on phone, they will be on phone. And if you give them something more beautiful than that, then they'll not take phone. If they have something more interesting than their phone, definitely they will avoid phone. They will be engaged in some other things. एक लाइन बड़ी है, उसको अगर छोटी करनी है तो उससे बड़ी दूसरी कोई लाइन बना दो. उस लाइन को रब करने से अच्छा है उससे बड़ी दूसरी कोई लाइन बना दो. तो आपके पास ज्यादा अच्छा ऑप्शन दूसरा दोगे तो बच्चे उनको जो दोगे वो करेंगे. थैंक यू.
Yes, Hetal, you can conclude the webinar now.
And this brings us to the end of our webinar. I would like to express my heartfelt gratitude to each and everyone present for the webinar today, Zoom platform as well as YouTube live streaming. I take this opportunity to first thank all our 4 speakers. It's a special thanks to Ms. Kamakshi Khurana, Ms. Navjyoti Brillant, Dr. Sachin Tambare, and Dr. Nivedita Chalill for their precious time and sharing their insight and knowledge with us. Thank you for the entire Muktangan team for their support and constant guidance in making this webinar a huge success today. Lastly, I thank all the participants without whose presence this webinar wouldn't turn out the way it has today. Your presence and participation has added more value to it. I now invite Ms. Shruti to make the further announcements.
Thank you so much, Hetal. I'll just take a minute to share the screen. Thank you everybody for taking the time out to be a part of today's webinar. I would really like to thank all the speakers for sharing such wonderful points on how we can actually think about developing a holistic curriculum and what are the ways in which we can implement these various aspects in our lives as well as in the educational space. I would like to thank Ms. Zainab and Ms. Hetal for facilitating the webinar in such a wonderful manner. I think we're all so engaged and there are so many points that we are still reflecting and it's still sinking in us. Just a couple of announcements. We have shared the feedback form link in the Zoom chat as well as the YouTube live chat box. So, it would really help us if you could take a minute to share your feedback, and this would really help us in planning for the future webinars. We shall be sharing the recording of the webinar with all the participants. It will be uploaded on our YouTube channel. So in case you missed attending the webinar today, you can still be a part of our learning community and watch the webinar later. This was the 3rd webinar of a series of 3 webinars that we conducted this year. The first webinar was on the importance of teachers' beliefs in maintaining good health and well-being of students, which was hosted in the month of January. And the second webinar was on implementing a mental well-being curriculum, hosted in the month of February. I have also shared the links to our earlier webinars in the chat, so you can also access those links. And I really hope that you find all 3 webinars engaging and insightful. We would also like to thank our participants. There are some of you who have stayed with us in all 3 webinars, and that's really encouraging for us. And thank you so much for being a part of this journey. We shall be hosting another series of webinars next year, same time in the month of Jan. So do stay tuned, and we really hope that you also register for our upcoming webinars and share and spread the word with others. We'd love to stay connected with you. If you want to know more about our work, you can write to us at contact@muktanganedu.org. We also have a website, so you can go to our website and learn more about what Muktangan does. And we would also like to learn about what your organizations are doing in the space of education or any other work that you're involved in. You can also support children and teachers gain access to quality learning and education. We have a donation page, and we are also encouraging interns and volunteers to be a part of our program. So if you're interested in volunteering or interning or even conducting your research studies with us, then please do write to us. We are also very active on social media. So please do follow at NGO Muktangan on our social media platforms, and this would help us in sharing our work and staying connected with you. Thank you once again, everyone, for being a part of the webinar, for taking time out. And we really hope that you had a wonderful session. Thank you.